for those that are in, construction, maybe energy proper, electrical supply, all of that, I would say that you really want to prepare yourself. What's going to happen is you start to look at uh, people are going to want to use solar more, right? So you're talking about the installation of solar panels. I mean, I just getting down to basic, putting solar panels on, understanding how to have a real energy footprint so that you can maximize the energy use. Because I think a lot of times what most the average person doesn't understand is that they don't even understand their energy consumption. And so what you're going to find is the government is finally here in Illinois and nationally, there are all these credits, energy credits that are real money. So for fixing things, facilities and houses and making them more energy efficient, there is money in doing that now. Right before, it was expensive and people were like, why would I do that when I can just keep on using fossil fuels that we're using? Now, with these opportunities, and really, someone's going to actually have to fix the infrastructure. There's going to have to be someone that gets these electric vehicle charging stations built, right? Someone's going to, all of these parts are going to have to be manufactured. I mean, it is going to be it's already, energy is already the biggest industry on the planet. This is just this is the shift in that big, huge industry. And there will be billions of dollars in it, going forward. So I would say to your point, Larry, I mean, we have no choice but to start moving in this direction, or everyone will be dead. Okay? We boom. I mean, I don't know when. I don't like to get doomsday, but we can't continue the way we're going. And so the idea is, because energy is so important for everyone, right? For everything to run, we have to be ready to participate in it. I mean, there's so many places. Look, there's wind, there's just a number of different things. Solar. So the idea would be for us to really prepare our vendors to be in that industry and all this. There's only a few real super duper experts on energy, nationally, right? Everyone's learning. Everyone is learning how to be ready for energy in the coming future. And so this is a great time for, like I said, electrical supply, construction, any of those types of companies that you have. This is a great time to get in and learn, and really your business can really take off, because we are in, even though everybody's talking about it, we are still in kind of the infancy stage of our energy transition to more sustainable energy.
Hey, Malcolm, I want to just draw the parallel behind the Ukraine and Russia issue, because Russia is such a producer of oil that it's so important that we have to make sure that, because our allies basically too, they cut off from, Russia cut off their oil supply,
Right,
so
right. Energy dependence.
Yeah, energy dependency. You have to be, and we have to, and I only draw the parallel because we have to be independent too at some level if we're going to have success.
No doubt, no doubt. Overall. You know what? 773-591-6090. We got some people holding on for calls, so we're gonna take some calls in the next segment. We'll be right back.
Malcolm, he said mute your phone, Malcolm. Malcolm, do you hear me?
Who they are, black contractors, owners, and
mute your phone.
BCOE, Chicago.org, the Illinois Black Diesel.
Mute your phone.
Go ahead.
Mute your phone, Malcolm.
Mute it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. We're back. Wow. Yeah. So energy. It is definitely a place I think we have to spend some time. And again, Larry, I don't know your thoughts on how prepared we are in terms of our businesses to benefit.
Well, that's why we have a energy committee with people like George Williams, Stephanie Hickman, and Dwayne Barlow, and a host of others who are really focused on energy. And at our conference, we'll have a global conversation on energy, because energy is more than just our ability to use it. and for, you know, for to run our cars, to cut on our lights and things in that category. Energy has all kinds of applications in terms of the cost of inflation. You know, when energy goes up, the cost of energy goes up, the cost of goods and services go up. So energy is a very important commodity that we have to not only learn how, you know, how we participate in it from an economic point of view, but also understand how it's impacted on a global basis, that we have to begin to think in terms of energy consumption, energy alternative, and really to save the planet, quite frankly, at the same time. So I'm not a tree hugger, but I do know that in reality is that if we continue not to be able to deal with the issue of climate change and climate warming, we may put ourselves at real peril. So we're going to have a business agenda with a conscientious objective of how we reduce CO2 emissions in the atmosphere at the same time. So it has to be a balanced approach, quite frankly.
Absolutely. Hey, so listen, I know we're going to take some calls in a minute, but I also want to bring up something, Larry, since we're talking about, you know, being prepared, energy, conversation, cannabis. You know, I gotta, you know, of course, my ears to the ground on a lot of things happening, and I have to bring up this historical thing of relevance for you and I. You know, there have been some vendors that have reached out to me, still ask this question, and they say that, you know, they're trying to work with Department of Corrections to get some answers, but they talk about a number of contracts that have been you know, bid or not bid, that, you know, folks weren't given a chance to compete on, and we know one of them very well, and that is the commissary contract for the Department of Corrections that has prevented us from participating. But also, you know, there's a Wexford health contract out there that is not had, you know, any minority participation on it, and it's been in place for over 10 years. You know, these seem like questions that the it made me angry because we had been fighting. When I was director of fighting.
Yeah, I remember that. We were both fighting.
We were fighting, right? I mean, we going to town on it. And so, you know, I really, you know, am surprised that, hey, this is out here, and there's been no addressing it. And they'll tell you all these technical terms, but we know what it is, right? There's a lack of willingness to address it. So I just kind of want to put that out there because the Department of Corrections, talk about things that affect black folks. The Department of Corrections, because we house so many black people, right? The majority of the people they house are black people. Every impact there is an impact on their families. So if it costs, you know, $20 to talk to your incarcerated family member for 2 minutes, that's your mama, your grandmama, your daddy, whoever out there that loves paying that. If it's commissary to send you some money so you can get some snacks, whatever, it's your family that's paying that. You're paying 4 times, 5 times what people outside pay. Without any real competition on any of this stuff, these people are dictating fights on the black community. And they are taxing us, and they are taxing us through our loved ones that they supposed to be rehabilitating. And it angers me of all the conversations people are having. This is it's like double jeopardy for family. You know?
Oh, yeah. When we're getting dinged with inflation, because when inflation hits, our little resources that we have to expand in terms of higher gas prices, higher food prices. Then when we got our people incarcerated, we're paying more. Then when it comes to gas consumption based upon the capital budget and what we pay for gas, everywhere we look, it's no wonder that we have been the target. It seems like a target of just, you know, this is the target of how you mistreat a group of people. And black people got to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's why I say it's not good enough, Malcolm, for us to talk about the commissary. The question is what we're going to do about it. And we ought to have a conversation with Ellen and asked Ellen to come on the radio station. With her name ought to be known throughout the state. You know, if she is not doing her job, then there ought to be no pass. You know, and I just think, you know, from my perspective, we've been way too nice on too many issues where our people have been hurt and continue to be hurt, and we're challenged by it, man. So I don't think it's good enough for us just to talk about it. I think we have to take, and we know Ellen, and we ought to have a conversation with her, and we ought to get some answers, and the audience ought to demand from us that we bring back some answers in terms of these issues, because we got a lot of them.
Yes.
Every time I look up, there's another issue of unfair treatment of African-American businesses who've done the work but can't get paid. I took a look at another thing is that I was looking at DCO information that they put out. They mentioned that the governor had spent $250 million on small businesses. And in the same article, in the next paragraph, it said 15% of that went to people of color. Now, you and I know that when they say it went to people of color, it's like the red light has to flash, because that's a good indication. It's a good indication that the representation of Black people in terms of that $250 million is probably insignificant, because in most cases, if it's really good, it's in there. If it's, we know this from being around, anytime you hear information say people of color, it's always an indication that you're not doing well. Now,
or diverse businesses, right?
Diverse. Same thing with the with IDOT. You know, all this money coming in, motor fuel tax, you're paying for it. And when the Secretary of Transportation comes to us and doesn't know what the breakdown of Blacks are in terms of participation, that's the indication, guys, we're not doing well. Now, we're paying for it, but we're not doing well. And the caucus has to hold those people accountable, or we ought to find other caucus members, because, guys, this is not acceptable. DCO numbers, I bet you that our numbers are dismal, better than you think, because I know we had a good leader, Antonio Baxter, who's no longer there. He serves on our board, and going back then, we were struggling to get Black people participate. I remember fighting for that. And now again, there's less Black representation at DCO. And I want to know what the numbers are of that $250 million that you're talking about in people of color. Give me the breakdown of it. I don't want you to tell me it's people of color, because Black people need to know how their government is treating them in comparison. Right. And we need to know that from the Department of Transportation, because you're paying for it when you put gas in your car. Don't you think it's right that you know that if you're only getting 3% or 2%, or if you're getting 40%, you want to know that your contribution you're getting something in return for the investment that you make. We have to, really begin to wonder why we continue to do the same thing with the same outcome. Cannabis is the same issue. Procurement, we have a new group that I'm hoping that they will do their job and deal with the issue of BEP firms and participation. The jury is out. I'm a part of that BEP council. I'm not a part of the group now. What is it called?
Commission on Diversity Inclusion.
The Commission on Diversity Inclusion. And, so guys, I really, at the age I'm in life, I'm not really trying to be liked by a lot of people. I'm trying to get things done, because when I stand before the Almighty and He asked me, what did I do to make things better? I want to be able to say I did something, that I didn't sit back idly by and let things go on as is, where Black people were being undermined, mistreated. And I think we can do better than that, quite frankly. And so we got to continue to push the envelope. We had sent information when the COVID hit about, hey, you need to do more business with Black people in advertising. Asked for and requested a meeting from the governor, never got the meeting. Just again, willful disrespect of black business and black business leadership. You can't take that and be a man or be a woman, and think that it make you believe that you're not relevant. Now, no one's going to convince me that I'm not relevant because I know who I am, I know what I do, and I know the impact I have throughout the country. And in Illinois, we got some real challenges, but we have those challenges in other states also.
No, I think that's right. Because great. Because we're gonna take some questions when we come back from this break. We got the line, but Larry, what you're saying is right. The conditioning of black people to view themselves as not having the power to change their situation. The conditioning of white people feel superior and have that judgment over black people and how we respond to things. I think that's a big issue in and of itself. But at the end of the day, what we do know is that black folks have been able to thrive throughout history under the worst possible conditions socially. Their businesses have been able to thrive under the worst possible conditions, business-wise. And so we know there is a way. But there has to be as a will. There has to be intention. And the truth of the matter is our people need to be shown how they can fight. We think about all of our pushing back and protest and all these conventional ways. And I say conventional because they've been done a lot, right? Ways to say, hey, we don't like something. Burning down our community ain't it, right? But it is understanding our power. Every day we wake up, we got money, we spend somewhere. And so you got money that you may not have a lot, got some. And you get to make a choice every day how you want to spend your money. You get to make a choice every 4 years on who you vote for. Those things own. So you must use those things as power. Stop thinking because you don't have money, big money, that you don't have any power. And that is the biggest lie that has been perpetrated on our people, is that we don't have the ability, money, and know-how to actually save ourselves. So with that, we're going to take a break. We're going to come right back. Get the phone line, 773-591-1690. Want to hear what you think.
Listen, my phone won't go all the way to off for the sound, so I keep trying to push it far away. We got to work that out. Yeah, it won't go to 0. I think it's the app. The app won't let me do 0, right? Or I'm going to bring my earphones next time, and I'll just make it go to earphones.
All right. We are back. So, Larry, you want to try to hit these phone lines right quick? We got a couple of folks waiting. Good morning, Reverend Al Sampson. How are you, sir?
I'm all right now. I would like to, be invited to, I heard you say that it's going to be a convention. I'd like to be invited because I'm a part of the World Conference of Mayors under the leadership of Johnny Ford, and I want to get the Illinois piece in to be a part of that, because I heard you speak about the international piece. Absolutely. And I just got off the phone with the African and the Caribbean folk that are a part of our setup. But the other key thing, I'm the only preacher in Black America with the Department of Agriculture out of my church for the last 25, 30 years. And food and gas is going to be, the highest price of commodities coming into our neighborhood. So you want to is it all right for me to give you my number?
Yeah, please. Go right ahead, Reverend Sampson.
The show is over.
Yep, I will give you a call immediately. Go right ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, 773-445-7125. On the whole energy thing, we got a group of 10,000 brothers and sisters that are a part of the whole energy waste piece. Whatever's in the ground, whatever's outside the ground.
Super.
Hey, I can put you into the network.
Well,
Like Brother said, he wants to go before the Almighty and say it right. But before he goes, I want to give him the agenda so that the Almighty will say, oh, yeah, Brother Sampson gave you the agenda.
hey, no problem, Reverend Sampson. Hey, it's great to hear your voice again. I know you and I know each other from years ago, but I love to catch up with you. You'll get a call from me today, and especially on the international front, there's enormous opportunities. But thanks a lot for the call. We'll take the next call.
Now, here's the last piece.
Okay.
Here's the last piece. I'm on the board of the group called OVT, a brother named Michael Thompson that I have a lot to do with. And we got an awesome surprise for you all because it's an alternative to Facebook and YouTube.
Okay.
And it's owned by us. But on top of that, I put a cherry on the cake this week. And I don't want to let the public know until I let the brothers privately know. Watch out, brother.
Okay.
We like to hear that.
Yeah, so when we talk, and the last thing is, I got a group of people that have bought the rights for the state of Illinois to do, it's almost like a Jiffy Lube. It's called Auto Lab. And I know the husband and wife that are running that. So I got a lot on the table, given who I am. So please, anytime after 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, let's talk, because I'd like to have an immediate strategy meeting with everyone who's on your team there.
Super. Hey, well, you'll get a call from me. I'll look forward to the call.
Thanks,
Take
Reverend.
care.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, God bless.
Right on.
God bless. May my strength.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, Tommy, go on. Good morning.
First of all, I just wanted to call you and say to you, thank you to both of you. And I would like to place in your hearts and mind one simple thing when it comes to us, because I know this all too well, because I call this radio station faithfully to try to put into the airways to my brothers, to my sisters, that I know that many of us have had bad hands. But an uninformed and ignorant person is dangerous, which is why our times are dangerous. I was one of these people. I didn't rob, I didn't steal, I didn't go out there trying to kill anybody. But what I didn't do was embrace my culture, my heritage, my unbelievable fact that I don't need anybody to tell me anything about myself, because my culture has told me and shown me that I come from a place where kings and queens walked the earth. And all of us will not be a king or a queen, but we will always be such because we understand the nature of the beast. And what is this beast? That as in a whole, gentlemen, we don't care. See, it ain't about these white people anymore. We know what they have done. Right. The fact of the matter is what we've done. And so I'm calling you this morning to say thank you, because if it would not be for people like you and people like this radio station, I still would be shacking a fool. I love you both.
Hey, thank you, brother.
Right on. Thank you.
Nothing but love for that comment.
Let me go. That's a really good point.
And thank you for
acknowledging us, but I think that's really what it's about. Larry's been doing it a lot longer than me. I really got more engaged in this form of government after working in government, kind of seeing it firsthand, being responsible for having to respond to some of these issues. And the truth of the matter is, this is why, and I think about this for kids. This is why Black History Month is so important. This is why acknowledging people that have done things, Black folks that have done things, first to do them, important. Because ultimately, the only advancement of Black people, whether it be in business, like we focus on here in the chamber, or in any other endeavor, socially, education, all of that, is we have to know that we can do it. We have to recognize folks that have done it. And then we have to say, okay, we've gotten this far with what this person has done. What do we add to the table while we are alive, breathing, raising our kids? Listening to Obadeli before us, and he talked about everybody being scared about these kids. Is that we don't have a kid problem, we have a parenting problem. what are we doing, right? Us, the people that are adult Black folks, what are we doing? And I think that being part of the chamber, being part of these efforts to try to change how we do ourselves, change how others do us, and us have an opportunity for success. This is what it's about. You know, we ain't getting rich here. You know, we at the chamber are not getting rich here. But yet, every Saturday we want to tell you all something that we know and that we found out to help you. And really, the only things, you know, we're expecting is for our people to succeed. You know, and I think you know, I ain't trying to go, you know, sentimental, but I really feel like, you know, Larry, that's why we're here. That's why I'm here with you. That's why you've been doing this for as long as you have. And it's so, time to thank you, you know, even for that call. I don't know what I did. I must have messed up the phone. I got rid of the call. Call back in. But yeah, you know, I think it's important.
Yeah, I think it is too, Malcolm. And I say too, guys, is that, you know, it's no wonder that Black people are struggling. If you really take a look at slavery, and once you were emancipated, you had Jim Crow, you had patronage, where people were put in jail in record numbers, millions of people working for free for corporations, for municipalities, that they made money just for spitting on the ground. Then you come out, and then every time I take a look at the injustice of us being incarcerated, you know, unfairly incarcerated at a record number across the board, we have to be as proud as any, because no other group of people. Now, some people say, well, others have suffered too, but man, no one has had more odds against them than people of color in America. And no other group has contributed more to this economy, into this country, and the Olympics and everything else that you got in sports. We have excelled at. So we got a lot to be proud of. But what we need to do is get a little bit thicker skin, and whether you be Democrat or Republican, okay, is that if you don't do what needs to be done, you ought to be fired. It's simple as that. You know, we're way too nice and too nice of a people that we continue to let people, you know, hoodwink us, bamboozle us, mislead us. And we got some great legislators, so I don't want someone running around, because the next thing you'll hear is that Larry hates the Black Caucus. And no, I don't. I believe in the Black Caucus. I think we can do better. But I think that we need to be sitting down with Black business, and Black business got to be a priority. It can't be secondary. It needs to be a priority, because everything moves from business. You know, if you take a look at how this economy works, you know, business is a priority. In the Black community, business in terms of contracting opportunities, it's something that we think about, but it ain't much that we've done much about it. We have a 30% increase in gold. But if you were to break that out and say, well, how will the Black people do on this 30% increase, 50% increase that the clock put together? And you'll find that, guys, we ain't done no better. When is enough for us to say, wait a minute, forgetting the party, I don't care whether you're Democrat, I don't care if you're Republican, I care about your policy. Is your policy good for me or bad for me? When I see things like $250 million spent, and I know that that number doesn't reflect, when you say people of color, it don't mean that we've benefited from it a great deal. I'm offended by it. I'm offended for you, because I think that they think that we're stupid, that they can say what they want to say, do what they want to do, and there's no consequences. Time is out for that, guys. We have to have a clear economic agenda. We got to make ourselves relevant. We got to have a seat at the table, so that when you talk about, because I hear a lot of people talking about dealing with IDOT. Well, if you ain't got the chamber with Lee Coleman and us sitting at the table talking about the Federal Highway Administration, you ain't got people who understand it, because we're the experts in that subject matter. But instead of people calling us to the table and getting our expertise, which we've been fighting to fight, they rather put someone else, support someone else, give someone else resources, and minimize us, because that's what they do. Now, my piece is that we have enough partners and business partners, corporations who we work with. They understand what we represent. but we're prepared to fight this because I believe that if America, anytime you have people, it's like having a business, Malcolm. If you got 1,000 employees and those 1,000 employees aren't working up to snuff, then you're losing money. If America has all these black people in America inside the system and they're not participating, you're not leveraging your global competitive advantage. When you're taking a look at semiconductors and technology, and you can't send it to Russia, and you can't send it to China, India is neutral, you really need to take a look internally at young black inner city kids and teach them technology because they will protect the interests of America together. So our conversation is not about anti anyone. It's just pro America, pro business with an ideal of understanding this more perfect union. It's an ideal. It hasn't achieved this objective. And the only way it's going to do that is that we have to fight for it and understand how relevant we can be and put pressure on people when we need to, but be unapologetic. I'm not apologizing for fighting for black people. And if black people want to have an issue with me, have an issue with me. Okay, I'm okay with that. From a chamber perspective, we're here to represent black business unequivocally.
Well, listen, that's part of how you put, you know, it's been the thing that's been going on for our people since we've been. We're not monolithic. Black people have just as variation thought as any other group of people on the planet. We just have a common history of subjugation here. That's what it is. So we come from a common source, many of us, but we have different perspectives, which is good. But the goal that we're talking about, that one thing to bring everybody together. That is, I don't care what you are, you need to be able to have the opportunity to make some money.
That's right. Hey,
business.
Hey,
so listen,
hey,
we
no
sorry
money,
we didn't get.
no money.
That's right. Sorry we didn't get to all the calls. Sorry we had a little phone malfunction there. But thank you for calling in. And Larry, you know how we do it.
Hey, ain't no stopping us now, family.
We on the move. Y'all have a good Saturday.
The Wake Up is brought to